For this video, we're going to solve radical equations, and that is an equation that has a radical expression underneath the square root. To look at the first one, I wrote a note to get the square root by itself. So how would you do that? You would add 7 to both sides to get the square root by itself. Those would cancel. Square root of x equals 7. How do you get rid of a square root? You square it. Whatever you do to one side, you do to the other side. And the answer is 49. A quick check. Plug 49 back into x. That is the square root of 49 minus 7. Does that equal 0? Well, 7 minus 7 equals 0. You're good. That's your answer. All right, let's move one to the right. Add 6, because you need to get that square root by itself, this thing. So you have 3 square root x equals 6. Well, we need to detach the 3, so you divide by 3. Square root of x equals 2. To get rid of a square root, we square both sides. X is 4. All right, let's check our answer. 3 square root of 4 minus 6 equals 0. Though that is 3 times the square root of 4, which is really 2, minus 6. Does that equal 0? And it does. So that's our answer. All right, trying the last one. We need to get this by itself. Well, first we need to move the 3 over. You need to get rid of the 12. And 3 over 12 is 1/4. How do you get rid of a square root? You square both sides. 1/4 squared is 1/4 times 1/4. And you multiply straight across to be 1/16. All right, if you want to check that answer, you have 12 times the square root of 1 over 16 minus 3. 12, well, when you do the square root of a fraction, you square root the top, and you square root the bottom, minus 3. 12 times 1/4 is 3. 3 minus 3 is 0, so that works out. Okay, so now we're going to get a little more difficult. Still need to get the square root by itself. So we need a minus 7 from both sides. X minus 5 is still there. That equals 5. How do you get rid of a square root? You square both sides. Now remember, the squared only cancels out the square root, so that is still x minus 5. The right side is 25. And then you solve for x. X is 30. All right, you can still check your answer. 30 minus 5 plus 7, does that equal 12? Well, that would be the square root of 25 plus 7. 5 plus 7 equals 12. Yes, it does. So 30 is correct. All right, one more to the right. Let's circle what we need to get completely by itself. First, we're going to take away the 9. 21 minus 9 is 12. Divide by 2. Divide by 2. X plus 6 equals 6. All right, we need to get rid of the square root. So we square both sides. Remember that the squared only cancels out the square root, so it's still x plus 6. And that equals 36 minus 6 minus 6. X is 30. All right, let's see if that's legit. 2, 30 plus 6 plus 9, does that equal 21? 2 times the square root of 36 plus 9, which would be 2 times 6 plus 9. 12 plus 9 is 21. Yes, it is. So x is 30. All right, so these last two, you have a square root on the left side, you have a square root on the right side. Well, how do you get rid of a square root? You got to square them. What's nice is the left side is x plus 4. The right side is 2x minus 1. And then just solve for x. Add 1 to the left, minus x to the right. These cancel. Those cancel. 5 is x. And let's check our answer real quick. 5 plus 4. And that will be 2 times 5 minus 1. So this is the square root of 9 equals 10 minus 1, which is the square root of 9. That works out. Now we need this right one here to look like the left one. So we need to move this over here so we can just square it on both sides. Square root of 4x minus 3 equals the square root of x, because we moved it to the other side by adding. Now you can square both sides. This will just be 4x minus 3. This will be x. Let's solve for x. Those cancel. Negative 3 equals negative 3x. 1 is x. All right, let's check our answer real quick. 4 times 1 minus 3 minus the square root of 1. Does that equal 0? What's 4 minus 3? So that is the square root of 1 minus the square root of 1. That equals 0. All right, so this whole time, why have we been checking our answer other than you would like to know if you're correct or not? There's this thing called an extraneous solution, which is your vocab word. It is a solution that even though you get it as a problem, it ends up not working out in your final answer or in your original problem. So even though you have it as an answer, it's not true. So all of these ended up working out, so we are okay. When you get to the next video, you'll notice some extraneous solutions, and once again, you'll continue to check your answer.